We're gonna do soft waves today on very long black hair. I'm gonna use a dry shampoo so I could get a little bit of grit on the hair. So you wanna spray on the base and a little bit on the ends and then work it in. When I start the curl, she has a middle part, so I do want this end to split in two. For the volume, you wanna make sure that you comb it. Tease, light hairspray. Make sure you comb it up for volume. You're gonna start the iron pretty close to the base, but not too close that you're gonna burn them. When you get all the hair up right here, you're gonna make sure you hold it upward and wait about 30 to 40 seconds depending on the hair type. If your hair type is more dry, you don't have to hold the iron too long. I think about 10 to 15 seconds is fine, but when you have slick hair like this, you want to hold about 30 to 40 seconds. When you drop it, you're going to put it upside down, hit the wand like this. While it's still hot, I'm going to use volumizing powder. So you're going to do this to give it extra grit so it can hold the curl better. And you want to make sure that it's pretty cool before you drop it down.
When you drop it down, it'll come out looking like this. And we're going to leave it like...
Do a light layer of hairspray. And then when we're done, we're going to comb it out. So again, you're going to hold it up. I already teased it. And then pull it over one loop. When it's the bottom strands, you want to get as close to the head as possible, because these have a tendency to fall out faster than the rest of the hair. And again, when you're done curling, you're going to tilt it over, drop the curl. While you're holding it, you're going to add the volumizing powder and air out the hot air. Remember, don't drop it until it's cool. Then you're going to drop it. And then light hairspray. This is my second section. I only put the crowned area up. Remember how I split it in half? Now my second section, instead of splitting in half, I'm gonna kind of do a 3-way or a 5-way, depending on how wide the hair is. You wanna make sure you get about like 1 to 1.5 inches, like this, and then you're gonna start your curl here. So remember I had the 2 curls right here. I know it's hard to see because she has black hair, but this curl right here is going to be in between, so it gives that wave in between the strands. Her hair is pretty slick, so I do want to add a little bit of volumizing powder towards the root. And then remember, we're going to comb up, tease a little bit, light spray. We're going to go in pretty high, one loop. I hold here the longest. At the ends, I don't hold it as long. I hold over here about 10 seconds before I slide it down and roll in my next curl. And again. Until I get really close to the ends. And I still hold it and roll it back to the beginning curl up here so it could keep the volume. And then over here, can you turn your head this way? I have this much section left from here to here. So I think I'm gonna split it in 3s. So my second section is gonna be odd numbers while the bottom section is even numbers. So you gotta do even, odd, even. So I think I'm gonna do about right here. Usually the frontal parts don't hold the curl too well, so you do want like thinner in the front and thicker on the end. When you get to the side sections, you want her curls to go this way, right? So you're gonna do the same thing, hold it up, and you're gonna angle the iron, because how you hold the iron will determine how the curl looks like. So earlier, my back ends, I was holding it straight, but this time I'm gonna hold it diagonal. So go in, diagonal. So instead of straight, because straight was like this, diagonal is like this. So it just gives a more flowy curl. Okay, for the crown area, I do want to add a little bit of volumizing powder on the top, but don't go too crazy, just a little sprinkle. And then kind of comb it in. And then tilt your head up. So I already did her front bangs. I'm gonna grab a little tiny section up here, tease, and then my next section on the crown area, and the next section. So you're gonna keep doing this until you don't see the straight hairs anymore. Okay, and then this last part is the last straight strand. I added a little bit more volumizing powder because this is the part where people typically put in the veil or hair accessory or whatever. You want it to have a grit, so you want to make sure you do a really nice tease on this last area. And you bring all the hair back. You see all that volume now? So remember when I said even, odd, and an even? This is my last step. So I do want to split it in half. And then depending on how wide this is, I probably do 4 sections. So now that we have all the curls done already, we're gonna use our straight comb again and refine the curls. So what I like to do sometimes is comb it down softly, and you see how soft that looks. Let's start here. So you're gonna comb it down. You see how soft that curl looks? So sometimes you wanna go like this to give a little bit more volume. That's what that looks like. You're gonna do another hairspray. And you wanna be mindful after you're done combing everything. Sometimes I take this all the way to the front and style it because the client is looking at their hair from the front, not the back. Okay, so now that we got most of it combed out, I'm gonna use a frizz cream. We only need a little bit. And then you wanna get some of the baby hairs down. And don't forget the front sections. So you wanna make sure you comb with your fingers all the way through. So these are very soft curls. And you wanna run it one more time with the comb to refine the curl before you hairspray. So sometimes I will take like maybe 1/3 of the section, put it out in the front, and then style it so they can see what the curls look like. And it looks really good when you section the curls in the front so that people can see what the hairstyle looks like, and it looks really nice. So when you look at the curl, you see how it's all kind of going together. You do want to kind of go like this and hold it and refine the shape. So I do like all of it to kind of coherently go with each other. So I will comb like this. Make sure the curls kind of go together. And we're gonna do the last hairspray. Okay, so remember when I talked about having details? We want to bring out all the hair. This is what it looks like after getting makeup done. So you want to fix the dryness and anything that's kind of sticking out a little bit. So I do like to recurl. So my frontal part will be about here. I want to make sure you comb it upward. And because it does have hairspray already, you do want to comb it until it gets soft. Once you put the iron on, you don't want it to be crispy and crunchy. So I do want to go up here in a little bit of an angle. And I like to overextend. So instead of having it up like this and curling, I do want to overextend because that's what gives the volume. And I'm gonna go, instead of going all the way to the ends, I'm gonna leave some of it sticking out because she has layers. So I do kind of want it to be soft instead of super curly. So I'll leave the ends coming out a little bit right here. Same thing again. You're gonna do the clip like this to drop the hair down. This until it's cooled. You can also add more volumizing powder if you like, and then just drop it down like this. So you see how that curl isn't too curly on the ends? That's what I want because we're finishing the hair. And then for this part, I'm just gonna do 2 sections because we already curled the hair. We don't need to go too crazy. I I still do want to keep the softness of the curls. So I did 3 sections as my touch up. The big ends right here, I'm gonna comb it going out like this. Combing the hair makes the curls look better. So you wanna make sure it's smooth before you go in with the iron. Wanna go outward like this. And then this is a very big section. So I do wanna spend quite a bit of time at least on this base, because when you curl hair, this is the part that people see. Even though they do see like the ends, but the volume area is mostly here. So you do want to keep in mind that you see how her scalp is all the way over here where my hand is, and her hair curled is over here. This is the part where you want to focus more of the curl on. So I want to brush down here. And you see the first loop right here? I want to keep it all together. So I'm going to hold the curls like this, come from the back, come from the front, and then the back again. And it's also handy to use this 4-comb tool right here. So I want that bend to stay right here. And this is my next loop. I want to make sure I hold it and come down over here. Make sure all the strands get a little bit of extra loving right here. Sometimes, depending on their hair type, you might have to hold it and do a nice comb through. So you do like a pinching like this, like the scissors, and then go like this until it's shaped the way that you want it to shape. With my Tigi hair balm, I'm gonna grab some, put it on the back of my hand, and I only want a little bit on my fingertip. I'm gonna go right here to smooth out the curl. And don't forget, when you have baby hairs, you want to go in here also. You don't want that frizz. So I lay the product across my index finger, lift up the hair, and go like this because I have long nails. So all over across the index finger, I go like this. So most of it is already combed out, but I want to grab the chunk with my hand and just slightly comb it like this and fan it out. And then I go work my way down. Hold it on my hand, fan it slightly out, and lay it down. And remember, use this part of the comb and help fix the front tilt curls, because this is what everybody sees. And then for the front bangs, you're going to use the scissor hands again and kind of comb right here and lay the curl to follow the other curls right here from the back side. So scissor hands, you're going to hold the bangs and then spray. Make sure it dries a little bit before you drop it, because this is what's going to help with the volume. And you might want to go right here and kind of fan out the curl and mesh it with the other curls. Fan it out like this to mesh it with the other curls.
Just keep combing and keep working your way and follow the curl. Like that.
You spray, scissor hands again. Fix whatever needs to be fixed. And this curl is deep in, so you want to fan out a little bit and make sure you get into that spray inside those curls like that. Sometimes when they have layers, these little pieces come out. You want to spray and flatten it down so they don't stick out too much. If you want to see more looks like this from me, stay tuned, subscribe, share. like, and I'll see you guys next time.